grooving to that music.
Dude,
I
I
like the
love
music.
night driving.
It's a good music. It's
It's really good. It
I
gets
feel
me in
like
the
it
right
suits us.
mindset. It
It
does.
is it is us. It is us. We are back on another midweek show without Jerry. We ditched the parents, for one
Yay.
show a week.
Yeah, the
And
lunatics are running the asylum.
yeah, it's when you lose Jerry, you lose the producer, you lose the steady hand, the guy that keeps
Yeah.
us on track. These
Yeah.
shows get a little wacky.
Yeah.
Wacky tobacco.
Yeah. Like the kids are saying that they're doing.
Cheeseburgers, finding out
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's older than everybody in the league and he's
Yep.
still playing.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, fun stat about that. Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers, Joe Flacco playing each other. Last time two quarterbacks played each other over the age of 40, Drew Brees, Tom Brady.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
remember what year that was. But I think Tom Brady's playing for the Bucks.
yeah. So that would have been like 2021. I
So
want to say
about
Drew
4
Brees.
years.
I want to say Drew Brees retired at 2020 or 2021. I think it's 2021. I think because Drew Brees, I think, retired in 2021. Because Drew Brees, of course, retired before Tom Brady, Tom Brady was older, and it's crazy.
You know how it is.
Yeah, I also saw that there's some controversy that the NFL posted that it's two unks playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Some people are mad about that
Why?
because that may pertain to certain type of demographic.
Oh.
And so some people were not happy about that.
I don't know. I get called Unk daily.
Yeah, but you got to remember where we live.
That's true too. Yes.
I mean, it's different sense of environment than some people. So
Yeah.
I side with the people that say they're not unks.
Well, we can just call it what Cam Hayward called it, the icy hot bowl.
Just the old men. Can we just call it the old guys?
I saw this thing on the internet today. It is now a scientific fact that the Chiefs, over like the last 5 years, have gotten calls favored towards them in the game. A UTEP financial assistant professor had his class do this,
Of course.
and over the last, they're like way below everybody else when it comes to penalties.
Well, I mean, they did go from 13 against the Jags to 0 this week against the Lions. So, I mean, we'll get into that when we talk about the NFL and start talking about that. But that is interesting. Finance bros happen to be watchers. Of course, ties in with what we know, crypto guys. I mean,
our crypto bros.
Yeah, we just are in that stuff. So yeah, I mean, we got a lot. MLB Playoffs still going on. We have, some lopsided series so far. First NFL coach has been fired. Of course, the Chiefs, Lions rumble after the whistle. Idiots. The Bears are the greatest team of all time. We defeated the commies, which America always does.
Yes.
And then college football. I mean, it's just jam-packed full of stuff here on this little midweek action here.
Like Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Gets into that. But we'll start in the MLB. We'll start with some baseball. Mariners are up 2-0 in the series over the Blue Jays. Game 3 is tonight in Seattle. So the Mariners won both games in Toronto. The game is 8 p.m. tonight on Fox. I think what the Mariners thing is, it's not just their hitting that's kind of got them here. Their pitching is very, very good.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays, I did my own little stats here.
Ooh.
The Blue Jays, in the 4 games they played the Yankees, averaged 8.5 runs a game.
Okay.
In the 2 games so far, they have scored 1 run and 3 runs. So 4 runs total in the 2 games so far.
Yeah.
And the Mariners, they won the game 1-3-1 and then won 10-3 in game 2, but their pitching has been incredible. Their bullpen's been phenomenal. Because everybody looks at the Mariners, they think big dumper in the offense and blah, blah, blah. But their pitching is really what's got them here. Blue Jays don't have as much. So tonight will be interesting to see if the Blue Jays can kind of come to life.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with the Mariners. Starting with the Tigers series, that last game to game 5. Any ETA on the big dumper jersey?
Yeah, I don't know. I think DH Gate was like sometime in like the end of October, so I won't get it
Well,
until
that's great.
probably like the World Series. But I did order a big dumper jersey on DH Gate. It was like $20.
Oh, that's
Um,
beautiful.
I never got a confirmation. It came out of my account, but I never got an email confirmation that said it was ordered. So I don't even know if it's ever going to come.
Yeah, that
But
would be bad.
if it does, it does. If not, I'm out like $20. And probably my credit card is now over in China.
Yes, and they're buying. I was gonna. Let's move on.
I'm feeding families at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, okay.
That's what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah,
feeding
yeah, yeah,
families.
yeah. Yes,
So I want it to come. Big Dumper is awesome. I really
he
like
is
him.
awesome. He is awesome.
He's caught a lot of. I mean, they did like a thing where he's the most innings in baseball. All this crazy stuff, and he's hitting home runs. He's just dude is phenomenal.
I so the Tiger series. I only really watched the last game, and I was like, dude, whatever, big dump. But this Blue Jays series has made me like open my eyes to Big Dumper. When we were texting back and forth, and like literally as soon as he gets up to bat, it's like 2-2 or whatever, and he just yanks one into right
Yeah.
field. It is a thing of beauty. I am starting to become a Big Dumper fan.
Now he does hit very well in Toronto. I think he is has like the best stats hitting wise in Toronto out of guys that are not on the Blue Jays, so
Oh, okay.
opposing guys. So he's hit very well there. He of course had the home run in game one, and then they like proceeded to kind of pitch around him a little bit in game two. He was walked, so it'll be interesting to see because the thought process was after game one's like, oh, you just won't pitch to him or
Yeah.
walk him. And then Julio Rodriguez in the first game comes up, two guys on, and drills a 3-run shot. And it's like, oh, you can't really walk him if Julio
Right.
Rodriguez is going to be on fire behind him. So very interesting in that series. Blue Jays, if they can get the bats going, that will be interesting. That's kind of what has fueled them. So as of right now, Mariners have a big lead. Now moving over to the NLCS, the Dodgers are up 2-0 over the Brewers. And the Dodgers pitching as well has been great.
Hmm.
Blake Snell went 8 innings with no runs in game one, and Yamamoto last night went 9 innings, giving up 1 run, and that was to the
Yep.
leadoff hitter. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of shows that I know we go crazy for the relief pitching when it comes to the playoffs, but if you can have a starter go deep
9
into the
innings.
game,
Yeah.
8, 9, even 7 innings,
Yeah.
you're going to win the game most likely. And the Dodgers have been able to do that so far with a weaker bullpen. I mean,
Yeah.
they were up 2-0 heading into the bottom of the ninth in the game one. They had to pitch two guys. Roki Saki gave up a run, and then they had Blake Trine had to come in with bases loaded to win the game. So the Dodgers thing, we need our starters to go along, which is good. That's why everybody's argument was Screwball only going 5 or 6 innings, whatever he did. Your team gets much better uh, advancement in the game if your starter can go longer. The Dodgers kind of proving that. Also, for the Brewers, they don't really have a go-to bat. They're more of a team. They play a little differently. It hasn't fully worked for them when you go up against a team like the Dodgers. But I will say, Shohei's not played great,
Yeah.
and it's kind of getting overlooked based off the Dodgers swept the Reds and they're up 2-0 in this series. But he has hit with an average of 138 in the
Ooh,
playoffs,
not great.
and he had three strikeouts last night. So, like one guy said, I was listening today. He was like, "Oh, he comes out next game he pitches and he pitches like 7 innings and strikes out 15. That's what anybody's going to care about." But it is kind of getting overshadowed a little bit that he's not played great. Now,
Yeah.
he did have an RBI last night, but you are looked at as the best or up in the conversation with Aaron Judge as the best hitter in baseball, and you have not performed well in the playoffs. It shows how great of a team that they have, but also it's like you would like him to start getting picked up a little bit here.
Yeah. When we first started even talking about postseason, I remember thinking like, dude, if the Dodgers can get the bats going, that's a dangerous, dangerous team. But now, I mean, the Mariners have been pretty impressive. So that kind of looks like what the World Series will be. Obviously, anything can happen. But I am very excited if the World Series ends up being Mariners Dodgers because that could be a very entertaining not only offensive game, but even defensively. Like you said, with those guys and the Dodgers being able to go for so long, and the Mariners relief pitchers look phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm super excited for the World Series, but I would be really excited if it was Mariners Dodgers.
Yeah, I think there's only been like 3 or 4 times where teams have gone down 2-0 in their home ballpark and have come back to win the
Mm,
series. One being the Giants, I think in 2012 when they won the World Series, they lost two at home to the Reds, and then they came back in Cincinnati and won the other three.
wow.
So it's possible, but it's a very uphill battle, especially for the Brewers. Is kind of the thought process. It's like you're playing the Dodgers, so some people don't expect them to even have the Dodgers get back on a plane back to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They think the series is going to be over. To where the Blue Jays, I expect them to maybe get a game or two, but probably with the Mariners moving on. But
Yeah.
anything can happen. You never bats could get hot real quick.
Yep.
Something could happen pitching wise, or a funky error could happen. But it just feels like the Mariners have a nice strong hold on the series, and the Dodgers as well.
Yeah, I feel like the Mariners have like a bunch of momentum right now.
Yeah, they are just ever since that, everybody thought, well, that 15 inning game against the Tigers could hurt them. It felt like it helped them, and it's kind of
Yeah,
rejuvenated.
they've looked, I mean, even better ever since then.
All right, moving on now to the first coach in the NFL was fired, that being the Tennessee Titans firing Brian Callahan. Yes, that was their head coach. Some people probably didn't even know who the hell this guy was, but he has been fired by the Tennessee Titans after a season and a quarter. That's it. He
Yeah.
went 4-19 as the head coach. They have what, one win that they shouldn't
Yeah.
even have won
Yeah.
against the Cardinals. He was the offensive coordinator with the Bengals previously before becoming the Titans head coach. My gripe with this is they should have fired him before the season when they got a new GM. Typically, when you get a new GM, he wants his own coach. You had a new quarterback coming in, and the thought process would have been, all right, let's just start completely over, clean slate. They didn't do that. And
Yeah.
now Cam Ward is sitting there in his rookie year, 5 games in, and now is a new head coach.
Yeah. I wonder if this is making the Titans kind of regret the Vrabel decision from a couple of seasons ago. But all this makes me think is that Capri's boys' time is ticking.
Yeah, I mean,
We
that's very, very true, Mike McDaniels.
we got one domino has fallen. We always talk about in the NFL things kind of happen like set the market. We'll say, deals get done that way, and sometimes even head coach firing goes that
Yeah,
way.
the first
Where
dominoes down.
yeah, exactly. So, um, yeah, Capri's boy. If you don't start wearing some, I don't even know what coaches wear now. I'm trying to think about it.
Sweatpants,
Do they just wear sweatpants? Maybe I'm giving him too
slacks,
much.
slacks.
Yeah, slacks. He better throw some slacks on.
He has slacks; they're just cuffed.
Well, we need to get that. I mean, honestly, it seems like because I was looking at a list of after this happened, a list of coaches who are kind of on the hot seat, and it's just all the usual suspects. And it feels like every 2 to 3 years we're talking about the same teams.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah,
Dysfunction starts at the top.
yeah, and it's
As a Bears fan, I can prove that.
right. I mean, um, they had a great coach in Vrabel. I think
Yeah.
that he's one of the. I mean, I think other than Ben Johnson, he was probably the best hire this past offseason. Um, so yeah, I think they're kicking themselves in the butt about that. He looks great in New England. But yeah, bye Brian Callahan. I to be honest, I don't. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
nobody knew who this guy was, right?
Yeah,
Nobody knew who it was. With the Vrabel thing is there was like some they had some internal problems that he kind of was basically looked at as a problem. I don't know if it was ownership or the people that were running the team at the time, and kind of that started with the AJ Brown trade where he didn't want it to happen, didn't really know what was happening, and they traded him, which I think any coach would be mad at that.
yeah,
You get rid of our best offensive weapon for a rookie at the time, which everybody's like, oh, okay, you get a rookie, cheaper deal. Traylon Burks turned out to be awful.
yeah,
Should have never been drafted where he was, and just happened to be that way. The Titans will look at it and say, no, that was still the right decision. We'll figure it out. But Cam Ward now becomes the latest first overall pick to lose their coach during their first season. Now, get this. The last 4 quarterbacks taken number 1 overall have had their head coaches fired in the QB's first season.
wow,
So, Trevor Lawrence with Urban Meyer,
yeah,
13 games in. Bryce Young with Frank Reich, 14 games in. Caleb Williams with Matt Eberflus, 12 games in. And now Cam Ward with Brian Callahan, was it 5 games in?
yeah. That's when you put it
Crazy.
like that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I do think it is. a little premature. I mean, the Titans look like the worst team in the NFL. I
Them or the
think,
Jets.
yeah. And then last year, obviously, with them getting the first pick, they were the worst team in the NFL. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes it's just an unwinnable situation, and then the head coach is an easy person to blame.
Yeah, it's just crazy though that these number one overall picks are thrust into these bad teams, and
Yep.
it's like, okay, number one overall pick, you're going to change it, and then they have not really had a nice stable foundation to stand on. As you go to the team that had the worst record in the league the year
Right.
before, and then your head coach gets fired in your first season, then you got to deal with that, and clearly the Bears have proven like, look, you get a head coach, and it's better than what it was before, and you're kind of feeling it. So we'll see what the Titans do. I mean, there's going to be people that want the job based off of coaching Cam Ward. They have a new stadium coming, so it's all going to be interesting to watch. But
Yeah.
Brian Callahan was the first sacrificial lamb this NFL head coach firing season. All right, moving on now to the Sunday night game where we talked about a little bit. The Chiefs went from 13 penalties against the Jaguars, which pretty much lost them the game, to 0 against the Lions. There's no coincidence there at all. But they ended up beating the Lions 30-17. This picture is, of course, a little skirmish after the game between Brian Branch and Juju Smith-Schuster. Brian Branch has since then been suspended one game by the NFL and was just one of the most idiotic things I've ever seen.
Well, apparently, I watched his post game interview, and apparently, there's like these things that are happening in between plays that he's taking, personally, or getting to him. He also mentioned a behind the back or in the back block,
Yeah.
right in front of a ref that didn't get called. So I understand the frustration. This just seems like when this happened, this seems like such an un-Detroit Lions thing to do.
Yeah.
They're tough, they're gritty, they're no nonsense, but they are usually well composed.
Disciplined, yes.
That's just been kind of Dan Campbell's trademark as he's been with the Lions. So this did seem a little out of character. If there is stuff happening that's getting to him, I feel for the guy. There's no way that this is acceptable, and I know he knows that. I do feel for the dude because I mean, being put on like a world stage basically and making probably one of the biggest mistakes you've ever made in your life is tough. But the Lions didn't look particularly great in this game. The Chiefs, it's so weird. I was watching.
They're back. They're back,
Yeah,
baby.
I mean, it's like in the NFL now, you don't know who's good and you don't know who's bad.
Yeah,
Any given week,
for sure.
I mean, what are the Chiefs now? 3-3.
3-3. They're back. They're
So yeah,
they now again have the best odds to win the AFC West.
so crazy.
I mean, they are just I mean, Dan Campbell like apologized at his press conference. I guess he went to the Chiefs and apologized. Went to Andy Reid, apologized. Patrick Mahomes apologized. Like Patrick Mahomes went to shake Brian Branch's hand after the
Yeah.
game. He refused to shake his hand. And then like Juju Smith-Schuster came up and was saying something. I think that goes back to the block in the back. I'm assuming Juju was the one that did that.
Yeah, I think he was.
And then I think it was one of those where Brian Branch was like, you just lost. This guy did something to you during the game that you didn't like. And Juju's like coming up, like messing with you still. Like, I get it. It would tick anybody off and make anybody. You can't do this.
No.
Because you hurt your team.
Yep.
And
now they don't have him for a game.
Yeah, now you don't have him for a game. And it's one of those things where now it's just like, is it a tink in the armor of the Lions where it's like you can kind of get to this guy a little bit.
Right.
He's a really good player, but it's like, can we get to this guy? Now, this takes away, I think, a little bit from the way the Chiefs performed. I mean, they look really good. Patrick Mahomes, it's just like every time people are like, Josh Allen's better, this guy's better. This guy, he's the new Tom Brady. He's just back there, wins games, looks great, does it quietly, and everybody's just like, we take him for granted. That's exactly what it is. 257 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 10 carries, 32 yards. He's running all over the place. He's like their leading rusher on their team. They were able to run the ball much better with Pacheco and Hunt, which is very surprising against the Lions. I know they're dinged up again on defense a little bit, but still, their offensive line is starting to figure it out. They still have Andy Reid. They still have Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey looks decent for being older. Chris Jones finally showed up for once and played a game. So, I mean, they're still a really good team. They still look very good. I say it all the time. Until someone beats them, they're still going to win the AFC West, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, I don't know about all that. I don't think they're worried. They're worried about you can tell like they're worried about like, hey, let's get to the AFC West and then we'll kind of. Before it was like Super Bowl, Super. Now it's like you get to a point where it's like, all right, we need to kind of just get on with the next game and we'll figure it out from there. But they're looking really good. But yeah, 0 penalties from 13 penalties. What's your take on that?
I mean, it's possible that they cleaned it up. I mean, but to play a game,
One holding penalty was not called once.
yeah, to play a game absolutely perfect in the penalty wise, seems a little insane to me. Especially like you said, going from 13 to where you look super undisciplined and now you're perfect. Um, I, I don't know. I don't want to feed into this idea that there's a mass scandal that is happening where the NFL is favoring the Chiefs on purpose. Um, but yeah, I just don't. It's hard to not look at the game though and go, not one penalty, like nothing,
Yeah.
like no false start, no offsides, no holding, nothing. Like really, um, I don't know. I would be interested in looking at their games for the rest of the season. But like I said, there's data on it that they are somewhat favored when it comes to penalties. So we'll see how it looks. I mean, if that is true, I mean it is true. There's data on it, but I mean the NFL has got to really take a look at this, or they themselves are just feeding into this idea that the Chiefs are being favored, which it's kind of weird to be like call more penalties on this team, but I mean really like they are like far and below every other team.
I will say the Lions only had I think 4 penalties for like 38 yards. So like it
Yeah.
wasn't like the Lions had
No.
15 penalties and the Chiefs had
Right.
0. I would just say the officiating as a whole, I would say just in football in general this year has been
Yeah,
it's
I
been
agree.
kind of bad. I've said it, the 3 Notre Dame games I've gone to, the officiating has been awful in all 3 of those games. Replay especially, I know everybody's been kind of saying that. You have Terry McCauley, who works for NBC, kind of as their lead analyst. He's like tweeting all the time on Saturdays and Sundays, being like, "This shouldn't have been called. This should have been called. Oh, replay screwed up this one." All this kind of stuff. He's frustrated with it. We had Dean Blandino was frustrated with the Bush push during the Chiefs game, being like, "I can't, like, I'm over this play." Like, I think that they're frustrated, but it goes back to like replay and that stuff doesn't always make the game better. And I think that
No.
kind of stuff gets to them, and they're so worried about every little call. They just need to go out there and just call it how you see it.
Yep.
Um, I think the biggest officiating thing from this game was the Lions touchdown to start the game with Jared Goff that was called back.
Yeah.
Supposedly, if the quarterback doesn't put his hands underneath the center, then it's fine for him to do what he did with the motion wise. And people have said that he didn't necessarily put his hands underneath the center. He did it on purpose. They called it back. It took like 5 minutes to figure it out. So I don't know. It just I mean, we'll move on now to Monday Night Football because there was a penalty called in this game that was atrocious. Actually, that's the holy war. There was a penalty in the Bears game that was atrocious. The touchdown to Roma Dunze.
Yeah. Yeah.
Atrocious.
Yeah. That was really bad.
Atrocious. The left tackle was in the backfield. Are you kidding me? His head was exactly where the guard was, Tooney. Everybody on the line was the exact same. Like I think sometimes these offenses get so ahead of the officiating that they're
Yeah.
like calling every little thing, but that is not a penalty to me. Now, mind you, when you watch the Chiefs, their left tackle is like in the backfield because he's so slow off the corner, or their right tackle. And it's like, what the hell? So to me, the officiating needs to be fixed. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know what happens. I know Clay Matthews has brought up like having former players be officials, like when they retire, because they know the game and kind of different things. I don't think that always makes it better because players, of course, think that the officials are terrible just to begin with. But there are some things that need to be figured out, and potentially where there are 2 touchdowns taken off the board that shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess moving on though, the Falcons shocked everybody, I would say. Again, it's so weird. It's so hard to say who's good and who's bad right now in the because basically everyone has written off the Falcons offense aside from Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Basically everyone, I think Jerry said last week we're on Michael Penix watch now.
Yeah.
Or Penix.
This one of those I was just gonna keep letting it go.
Yeah. I mean, Bijan looks phenomenal, but again, this is the NFL. where at the end of the day, you have the best athletes in the sport in general, all over the country, playing, and they're all capable of winning games. And there's guys who don't touch the field that have never not started in their lives. So um, anyone can win on any given day, but the Falcons, they really put it to the Bills. I was really impressed with what the Falcons were able to do, and obviously the Bears. I thought the Bears were going to win this game. The NFC East is a disaster right now, and so I don't trust any team in that division. To, I mean, the Bears are rolling right now. They got a lot of momentum, so I didn't trust, and especially the Commanders with coming off of so many injuries and all those things. I didn't trust that they'd be fully ready to go. I mean, even though you have a lot of guys back, it doesn't necessarily mean that when you take time off, you have to get back into the feel of things. And I just didn't think they'd be there. The Bears are rolling right now, so.
I will say I hate the doubleheaders on Monday night.
I know you said that last week. I agree in the
I
idea.
didn't even watch the Bills game because I'm trying to watch baseball.
Yeah.
And then the Bears play. And it's like I didn't even watch any of the Bills game. I didn't. I just know that Bijan ran for like an 80-yarder.
Yep.
And then looking at the stats, Josh Allen had 2 interceptions.
Yep.
Michael Penix had like 200 yards passing, a touchdown, 0 interception. Bijan ended up with 170 yards and a touchdown. I couldn't tell you anything about that game.
I agree with you. I like that there's 2 games on Monday. I don't like that they're at the same time.
Now, this week is different because the Lions play at 7, and then there's like a West Coast game at 10. That's a little bit better.
I'm fine with that.
But to have a game that starts at 7 and then have another game start at 8 o'clock, and then you got baseball going on at the same time, it's ridiculous. And they always complain about ratings and no one watches. It's because you are just like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
The NFL is not like college football where we like overlap everything and it's all over the place, blah, blah, blah. The NFL is time slotted to give you a chance to watch one game at each time slot, guaranteed. 1 p.m., 4 p.m., Sunday night, and then Monday night and Thursday night. I don't like start a game at 6 and then 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Figure it out. It's not that hard.
I agree.
But I hate it. Now moving on to the Bears. Of course, they win by a game-winning field goal by Jake Moody, who's called it from practice squad this week. Kyron Santos, our regular kicker, very reliable kicker. Knock on wood on that one. Is dealing with a thigh injury. I didn't even know he wasn't the kicker until watching the game. That shows you how much I keep up with the injury report. I saw Jake Moody. I'm like, what the hell happened to Kyron Santos? Figured it out. The other thing I will say, I'm glad that Jaden Daniels lost the game and not Caleb Williams, because ESPN could not keep Jaden Daniels and the commies Phoenix out of their mouth, dude. It was ridiculous. Courtney Cronin, who works for ESPN and does Bears stuff for Chicago and for ESPN, she tweets like during the game. She was literally like the Bears were in the 1 minute of a 13-minute Commanders hype video.
Yeah. I think that a lot of Jaden Daniels has not particularly impressed me this season so far.
No, he had 2 turnovers. They had 3 total. The interception was awful throw. If Caleb Williams throws that pass, we are like analyzing how he's terrible. He's the worst quarterback. He's a bust. They're tired of waiting on him to develop and blah, blah, blah. He fumbles that at the end. Oh, and then they like tried to play it off that it was like the running back's fault. Yeah. And then you watch the replay and it's like, oh no, he was fumbling before that.
Right. Yeah. I think teams have started to figure him out, and I think a lot of his highlights last year were a little fluky. Thinking specifically to that Hail Mary against the Bears.
Yeah.
This happens a lot where it's like, yes, it's an amazing play, but does it really go to how great of a players were on the field? No, it was a lapse by the Bears, and I don't know. I think they got him figured out. I don't think he's like his career is over.
No, I'm not saying that.
I don't think we're going to see. This almost feels like a C.J. Stroud situation to me, where he has an amazing rookie year, and then sophomore slump hits a little bit. Now he's still serviceable. He's still good, just like C.J. Stroud is. It's just he's less than what he was. So then people are like, oh, he's terrible now, or they put him in a box to where he's not what we thought he was. Well, you would take what Jaden Daniels is right now when you drafted him.
Yeah.
He just played at such a high level last year that it kind of really looks like he's really failing a lot. But you got to remember, this dude's like, what, 24,
Yeah,
23.
he is a little bit older. Um, I will say too is it also shows that some people on certain networks do not give these players time to develop.
Yeah,
And Caleb Williams is a prime example of that. He had a trash coach last year. Eberflus is awful. He's a terrible defensive coordinator
yeah,
with the Cowboys. He's a
yep.
terrible head coach, thrown into this situation. Hey, fix the Bears. Bears have been terrible forever. You're going to fix them. Comes in, it's like, whoa, bro. Like, he didn't even want to really go there. I don't blame him. And it's like, okay, thrust in. You fire your offensive coordinator. That guy was terrible. You give him a guy who's never called plays before. Then you end up firing the coach. Just terrible. And look, until that Hail Mary last year, the Bears were decent. That
Yeah,
broke the Bears last year.
yeah,
Was the Commanders game. And then you had the Commanders. They had a great season last year. Dan Quinn, he's a good coach. I'm not saying
yeah.
he's a great coach. I mean, he should have won a Super Bowl and he did, and there's reasons why. Um, well, I just love it goes back to they always blame Kyle Shanahan for that. Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. Dan Quinn was the head coach.
Yeah,
We always blame him for that. It's like, no, at the end of the day, Dan Quinn had final say on everything. So yeah, you did great. You beat the Lions last year in the playoffs. You make it to the NFC title game. You had a great year. Then you add a bunch of these pieces. You go get a left tackle. You add Debo. You know Von Miller. That doesn't mean you're going to be better. Doesn't mean you're going to be great. You
I
know,
do have one thing to say about the Bills.
yeah.
I forgot to mention this. Dude, it blows my mind how when they get in close games, like James White is just not on the field. Like the same thing happens in the AFC Championship every year or whenever they make it in the playoffs.
You James Cook.
And James Cook, yeah, yeah. James Cook, yeah, not James White. Isn't he like the Buccaneers, like third
He
string running
was.
back or something? Yeah.
Was.
James Cook. The fact that he's not on the field
Yeah.
it
No,
blows my mind.
their offense moves completely better when Cook's in the game. They did it in the AFC Championship game last year. He's in the game. They're moving the ball. They're doing great, and then they get away from it. Look, Josh Allen's great. He's great. There's no doubt about that. Great quarterback, but he can't always do it alone.
No, and I think the Chiefs have shown that.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes is probably the best talent and quarterback wise in the NFL, and it probably has been for the better half of almost a decade. But he doesn't do it by himself.
no, you can't. You
No.
physically cannot.
And even if you're worried about running, like not running the ball and throwing it, James Cook is a great receiving back.
Yes.
Like just put him out wide. He can run routes. And they fall into this thing where he is probably the best playmaker on the field outside of Josh Allen.
Yes, without a
And
doubt.
he's sitting on the sideline when the game matters the most, and it happens all the time.
Yeah, like I said, it makes no sense. This is where these guys, and I get it. All these coaches forgot about more football than we know. That's a
Yeah.
fact. But when you're watching and there's simple things you can pick up on, like stuff like that, it's like, hey guys, you're moving the ball pretty well with number 4 on the field. Why don't you keep him on the field? They overthink things. They don't think about it. They end up forgetting about it. It is baffling that the Bills are like, yeah, you have a great talent, Josh Allen. He's great. There's no doubt about it. But like, it's still also the regular season. It's still early. Why don't you like give up on his workload, not force him to make dumb decisions like 2 interceptions in a game, and maybe keep Cook on the field?
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing you can say for the Commanders, and these teams do this all the time. Is you have a rookie who's done really well, and then they add on to it, but they add the wrong pieces. The Texans did it last year with C.J. Stroud, right? Where granted, they had some injuries at wide receiver and all that to the guys they added, but you add and you force Baker with the Browns. This is the same thing, right? You add unneeded pressure to your team and to your quarterbacks.
Yep.
Commanders kind of did that by overachieving last year. Now, Jay Daniels did get hurt, but he's played 2 games since coming back. But you add this unneeded pressure to your team, but just develop your team. You don't always have to go and get a bunch of veterans.
Yeah.
Like just, especially if you're a young team, just develop that team. The Commanders went out and they get all these veterans. And it's like, just sometimes be young, be organic and figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, I do agree. It's not that Jay Daniels is awful. He's not. He's still a really good quarterback. But he was going to regress a little bit. And then you're going to have some guys like Caleb Williams, your Michael Penix, like these guys slowly develop. Drake May, slowly develop around him, right? And it's like, okay, like this may just turn out to be a really good quarterback class.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams has played very well so far this year. He played very well in the Commanders game. I mean, he should have had 300 yards passing if Zacchaeus catches a ball. when they were deep in the Washington territory. But it takes time for some people. Caleb Williams needed a good coach in Ben Johnson. He needed a defense who's playing very well. They had 3 turnovers and they have 12 on the year. That's a crazy amount in the first 6 games.
Yep.
5 games for them because they had a bye. Coming off a bye, just to get a win like that, it felt good as a Bears fan to finally win a game like this instead of losing a game and kind of have it go our way with the fumble, recovering. The running game slowly starting to pick up a little bit with DeAndre Swift. You almost won a fantasy matchup because of that.
I know.
So it's one of those where it's just it takes time. Not saying that the commies are bad, but they're maybe not going to be as good as they were last year.
Well, it doesn't matter because they can still win the NFC East.
Well, the NFC East is all over the place. I still think the Eagles are the best team. They just have some things to figure out. But it is, and the Commanders don't have an easy schedule either.
Right.
Your schedule is a little bit tougher. You got a little bit tougher overall, but I will say for the Bears to win, that was very, very big, and they're looking good. 3 wins in a row. Watch out.
Watch out.
Well,
they got next?
We play the Saints. That
should be a win.
You never really know.
It's a sneaky game, though.
It is sneaky. The Saints have played very, very well. The Saints may be like the Auburn. In the NFL. All right, moving on to now college football this week. Or quickly before we get to these games, I almost forgot about it.
Yeah.
So there's a report today from USA Today through Yahoo from USA Today Sports. Crazy how this all works. Florida head coach Billy Napier could be fired as soon as this weekend. This is per USA Today Sports yet again. According to sources, Florida's athletic director, Scott Strickland, met with a handful of influential boosters on Tuesday and was told continuing financial support depends on a new direction within the football program. So basically, if they don't change or there's not a clear new direction, money will not be coming into the program, which is big in the NIL world nowadays because you need continuous flow of money. It's not like 10 years ago where it's like, hey, if you give us a donation every 5 years, we'll upgrade the facility, do those things, we'll figure it out. So we already seen Penn State move on from James Franklin, spend $50 million to let him walk out the door. Billy Napier's been on the hot seat. He's won a couple games. We're like, okay. And now there's reports he could be fired. So basically my thought process is he loses this week to Mississippi State. They have a bye week next week. He's gone.
Yeah, basically, we've been having this conversation about Billy Napier for, almost
since they lost to USF.
Yeah, well, even I would last year there was this conversation, before he went in and they eventually finished 8-4.
Yeah.
So it's a tough road. Like me and you were kind of talking about before, it's almost like to save his job he has to win out, which is not going to be easy. But they've looked really good in some games. Their Texas win is what comes to mind initially. But Florida's one of those programs where if they're not winning, they're not very happy. Because they are, especially us growing up, and I know you were a huge Tim Tebow fan. Those teams are unreal. Yeah. So there is a culture of winning there. Not necessarily always the national championship, but being a good team. I think there's a lot of frustration with, they lost to Miami. They lost to Florida State. It's like you're losing those Florida battles that usually back in the day where, Miami was good, but they were a good ACC team. And USF is like nothing. So, I can see where the frustration is. In my eyes, to not get fired, he has to win out. And even then, there's probably going to be conversations about him maybe stepping down after the season's over.
Yeah, 2 things. Florida is one of those schools that feels like if you get the right coach, you're going to win, right? Like Steve Spurrier in the 90s and then Urban Meyer in the mid-2000s, where it just feels like if you get the right guy, you're going to – it's like LSU. It feels like you just get the right coach, you're going to win a national title with the recruiting and the way it goes. Now, that could change a little bit in today's day and age based off of things. But, look, Florida's one of those schools in the SEC. They got some big donors, and they want to win and they want to pay. The other thing is you now have these schools firing their coaches – quicker than ever before based off of I think they want to get ahead of everything. They want to get ahead of the searches. They want to be the first to hit the market with their teams. We've seen guys that were fired after 3 weeks. And then you get into all right, so then let's figure out who's going to transfer. as there's a window that's opening up, and these guys aren't going to transfer during the season, but they're probably verbally saying to the coaches or the other players, "Hey, I'm leaving when this
Yeah.
season's over." Two, you're trying to get ahead of the recruiting. UCLA fired their coach; they lost like all their recruiting class. So you're trying to get ahead of that to be hey, stick with us. We're going to try and make a hire. We're going to do this. Florida's one of those schools when they had problems with Dan Mullen. He had one bad year and they fired him. And then they get Billy Napier. You think he's going to be good. He comes from Louisiana. It's like, okay, he understands the South. He's going to be the next guy. There was a bunch of schools that wanted him at the time when there was big jobs open at the time. LSU was open. People at LSU wanted him at LSU. So it looked like at Florida's, boom, home run hire. Kind of struggles first year. It's like, okay, he's trying to rebuild the program. You get DJ Lagway. You're like, oh my God, number 1 overall recruit. Like, we can figure this out. He doesn't fully start him year 2. He finally puts him in. They win out, and it's like, okay, we figured this out. You come into the season, even in a tough SEC, and you're like, okay, we can do good, and then you struggle. It's tough. Florida's one of those schools. There's a lot more to do than some other schools when it comes to being the head football coach.
Yep.
You either can handle it or you cannot. And I just think these schools now are, and the Penn State one kind of opened the floodgates where these schools are like, all right, like if they fired James Franklin,
Right, for $50 million,
who was successful here for
right,
like 12 years, had one bad year this year, got his team to the Final Four last year, and was a field goal away from playing in the national title game. They're going to fire that guy.
Yeah.
We have to fire our coach. Like, this is unacceptable. Now, next question is, if this is happening, who do they go after? I don't really know. But to me, now that this report's out, it basically means you're fired. It's just it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. They're looking for, like, the straw that breaks the camel's back, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like the one last reason to get rid of him.
Because here's my thing. If you're going to fire him, do it. Because say he wins Mississippi State this week, you're going to fire him after a loss. You said that earlier. Then you get a bye week. Not saying you beat Georgia, but you're competitive against Georgia.
Yeah.
Then you end up beating Kentucky. Okay. There you're like, okay. Then you're at Ole Miss. Say you upset Ole Miss like they did last year. Say they beat Tennessee, which is a big rival. And then say they beat Florida State. So it's like, if you're going to fire a guy, cut him loose.
Right, because then you have to justify firing him when the whole time you wanted to fire him anyway. If he, and this is what happened last year. At the beginning of the season, there was like, we're getting rid of Billy Napier, and then he goes on this great win streak, and then they go, well, I guess we're gonna have to keep him around. Like, and even so, say they do win out or whatever. Say they play competitive against Georgia and all the other stuff. How are you gonna justify this again? How are you gonna justify firing a guy that's competitive with Georgia or beats Tennessee or beats Florida State or beats Kentucky when his back is up against the wall? You can't. So I totally agree with you. If you're going to do it, fire him.
No, I mean, the Bears did this with Matt Eberflus after his second year.
Right.
We had the number 1 pick from the Panthers. We were like 7-9, and they kind of won some games. They looked better. But we get rid of Justin Fields. Why would we not get rid of Matt Eberflus?
Yeah.
We had a chance to get Jim Harbaugh, potentially, and we don't even go after him. We keep this lame duck coach, and we fire him 12 games in the next season. That's why you don't do that. If you're going to get rid of him, get rid of him.
Yep.
My throat is. Gosh, I'm dying over here playing hurt today. All right. Now we are on to our games of the week in college football.
Yeah, a lot of, like you said earlier, a lot of noon games.
Yeah, so we have a lot of noon games this week. But we have a Friday night game. And I put this game on here because the rival of this team lost on a Friday night.
Yep.
They're at home, though. Miami is. Florida State was not. So the first game we have is Louisville. Louisville's 4-1, the Cardinal. At number 2, Miami, who's 5-0. Miami's a 13.5-point favorite. This game is on Friday night, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Jerry went with the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Hurricanes, too. I do like the comparison of Florida State and Virginia, and it can be like a sneaky game with a team that's been playing pretty well in Louisville. But Florida State, we came into the season not really knowing what they were, and then they impressed us. I feel like this season we were pretty positive of what Miami was, and we're seeing that we've been right this entire time. That Miami is one of the best teams in the country. So yeah, give me Miami in that one.
Yeah, I think Miami wins. It's just a funky match, like Friday night. I know they had a weird, funky Friday night. I think with Virginia Tech last year, where Virginia Tech had a Hail Mary, not called a touchdown and intercept. Funkies. Yet again, the officials kind of messed that one up a little bit. I think Miami wins. It's just Louisville's a pretty good team going in there on a Friday night. It's just a weird, funky game, but I do think Miami wins. Washington, they're 5-1. Some people are saying
Yep.
they should be ranked. I agree with that. With their only loss being to Ohio State, if they're an SEC team, they'd be ranked all day long.
Yep. Yep.
They
Who did
go
Gerald
to
go with?
they go to Michigan, who's 4-2, coming off the loss to USC, but Michigan is 6.5 point favorite. Jerry went with Washington.
I kind of like that. I will say that other than Ohio State, um, I haven't been really super impressed with any Washington wins. Maybe the Maryland win, but that's really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Um, it's hard. It's hard for Michigan. I can see a competitiveness, a fire getting under their whats after this loss to USC. But Washington's a tough team. I'm going to go with Michigan. I think Michigan will bounce back from the USC loss and win against Washington.
Yeah, this one is a tough pick for me as well. I've kind of thought like, okay, I don't think Michigan's a bad team. They're just not there. They're just not ready yet.
Yeah.
Um, they need some playmakers on the outside. Their offensive line is not as good as it has been. The defense kind of got pushed around a little bit by USC, but USC has a really good offense. So this game was tough when looking at it because I feel like you go with Washington, but in my overthinking is Michigan really the better team?
Right.
6.5 points. It's tough. It's a noon game though in Michigan. Washington, I agree with you. They played Ohio State, and it wasn't like a blowout,
Right.
but it was convincing win, I would say.
Yeah, me too.
I do like Jed Fish, the head coach of Washington. Washington beat them last year in Washington in a kind of a funky game. This one's tough. See, I don't know what to do for this.
This game's hard.
Either way, if whatever I pick in this, I'm gonna be mad because I hate Michigan regardless. But I'm going to pick Washington to beat Michigan. I think they're gonna go in there. I think they're gonna beat them. I think USC maybe expose some things. I don't know if the running back Justin Haynes is gonna fully play for Michigan. He got hurt in the USC game. So I'm going to go with Washington to win this game. All right, going on to our next noon game. It's just all playing games at noon. Why don't we? Number 12, Georgia Tech, 5-0 at the Duke Blue Devils, who are 4-2. Duke is a 1.5 point favorite in this game. Jerry went with Georgia Tech.
So I think this one's hard for me too. Duke looked really good against Syracuse. They looked good against Cal.
Terrible against Illinois.
Terrible against Illinois. Lost to Tulane, who's having a pretty good season this year. And Georgia Tech, they like those close games.
They do. They
love
keep
them.
it close. Heart attack kids, man.
I would say what I'll say up front is if this game's close, Georgia Tech wins. They're going to find a way to win. I really have a lot of faith in Georgia Tech. Oh, man. But I could see this game getting out of hand a little bit and going towards Duke. Did Jerry take Duke? Is that what you said?
No, he took Georgia Tech.
I'll take Duke. I'll go Duke.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on Duke.
Okay.
I think Georgia Tech's played a lot of close games.
Yeah.
A lot. And they're bound and determined to lose one of these close games.
Yeah, it's true too.
The one thing that does help Georgia Tech is when Tulane played Duke, their quarterback kind of ran pretty wild. Georgia Tech's quarterback, Haynes King, he runs wild. He's crazy. He's a crazy man. He runs. But I think Duke, with Manny Diaz as their coach, defensive-minded, is going to have a good game plan. And I just think it's Duke's time. They've kind of figured themselves out with their new quarterback that they got in. Illinois, if they didn't have the turnovers, it may have been a closer game. So I'm going to go with the Blue Devils as well. Number 10, LSU at number 17, Vanderbilt.
These are hard.
Vanderbilt is a 1.5 point favorite. The line has changed. 1.5, 2.5. It's kind of both of these lines, these last two games the lines have kind of shifted a little bit. This is a noon game on ABC. Jerry went with the Vanderbilt Commodores.
I am also tempted to go there. Again, I said this a couple weeks ago. This kind of just feels like a Brian Kelly game to lose. I've been impressed with Vanderbilt. They hung in there against Alabama. Ended up the score doesn't really show that, but the game was a lot closer than I think the final score was. Um, I like Vanderbilt. I think this just feels. Yeah, I'm gonna go Vanderbilt. This just feels like a Brian Kelly game to lose.
Yeah, LSU hasn't played great as of late. They're kind of trying to figure themselves out. Nussmeier hasn't looked fantastic. Vanderbilt struggled against Alabama, ended up losing that game, and they're at home. So what's going to happen there? I think LSU wins this game. I think Vanderbilt is a good team, but I think that there's some holes in their team, and kind of them this year is very similar to them last year, where they started out hot. You get a big win, you're like, whoa. And then they maybe get figured out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think LSU is a better team. I like LSU's defense a lot. It's much improved. If LSU's defense wasn't as good, I'd be Vanderbilt all day.
Yeah.
But I think LSU is going to have a good plan for Diego Pavia and that offense. And the atmosphere being at Vandy isn't going to be as crazy as it was anywhere else, I would say, in the SEC. There'll be a lot of LSU fans there. Now, will I be shocked if Vanderbilt wins? No. But I just think LSU is – people are not talking about them again, and that's when it's good for them. They're an underdog in this game, which helps them. And I like the LSU Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Vanderbilt Commodores. All right, now moving on to our bigger games. This is the Holy War. Why don't they just call this like the Soaking Bowl or something? Why can't we just... I don't understand, why we don't just call it something like that. This is Utah versus Utah here. Number 23 Utah 5-1 at number 15 BYU. BYU 6-0. Their quarterback wears number 47. Bear Brockmeyer, Trevor's favorite quarterback of all time.
I don't have anything against the guy. It's the number. But you know what? I think I've gone against BYU twice now.
Yeah.
And they've won both games, obviously, because they're 6-0. So you know what? I'm going to go with BYU here in hopes that I jinx them.
So you're going with BYU. Did I not write down who Jerry picked in this game?
Oh, Gerald.
Doesn't look like I wrote it down. Did he pick anybody for this game? Oh, he picked Utah. Jerry went with Utah.
I'm putting my record on the line here.
Utah is a 3.5-point favorite. This game's 8 p.m. on Fox. Utah played Texas Tech, and we all picked Utah, and they lost. Last week, we all picked Arizona State, and they lost to Utah. Mind you, Arizona State didn't have their quarterback, but Utah destroyed them. Utah's a very good team, coaching-wise and everything. They're starting to run the ball a little bit better, which I think helps them a little bit more. They have a good offensive line. I just think Bear Bachmeier, as a freshman, going against a tough Utah team, even though they're at home, I think in this rivalry, Utah's a little bit more proven than your boy at quarterback over there. So I'm going with the Utah Utes to win this football game. But it's going to be – this is one of those games, something crazy is going to happen.
Yep.
I can already tell you, it probably will definitely go to overtime, and there will be a crazy play that happens somewhere in between. But riding with Utah. All right, going back to the SEC. Number 11 Tennessee versus number 6 Alabama. Alabama's a 7.5-point favorite. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Jerry went with the Tide.
You know what? What I got here is that I think that everything's going to come full circle.
Okay.
Or maybe triangle shaped.
Okay.
We got Tennessee losing to Georgia.
Okay.
We got Bama beating Georgia. And I'm going to go with Tennessee beating Alabama.
You have Tennessee beating Alabama.
Just to do the triangle.
Whoa. That's a big one.
I think that this season of college football is so crazy that Tennessee will beat Alabama, and then we'll have no idea again who's good and who's bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not wrong there. I will say, Tennessee's quarterback is pretty good. He's doing better than what Nico would have done at Tennessee, which is actually kind of crazy. But I cannot pick against the Tide, man. They're rolling.
They look very good,
Um,
but you know,
they have some confidence. Ty Simpson is balling out of control. I don't fully trust Josh Heupel in Tennessee in these kind of moments, especially at Alabama at night like this.
yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna go with Alabama with Jerry. The Tennessee pretty bold, but you've been pretty good on bold picks this year.
You know me.
You kind of stick your neck out there, and
I do.
it's kind of worked out for you.
It has.
The game where College Game Day will be in attendance at number 5 Ole Miss 6-0 at number 9 Georgia, who is 5-1. Georgia's a 7.5-point favorite. 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Ole Miss beat them last year, 28-10. That kind of started to unravel. Carson Beck at Georgia, and Jerry went with the Dogs.
Oh yeah, this is I really in my heart want Ole Miss to win. I would really like Ole Miss to win. I think that would be fun. Lane Kiffin is at the top. Their guy Trinidad Chambliss, he's at the top. This is a real test, and I think if they can win this game, they are up there for the conversation of winning the Natty this year. But I'm gonna have to go with our boy Gerald Hopkins, and I'm also gonna go Bulldogs.
I think if this game was played at Ole Miss, I feel more comfortable
Yeah.
probably going Ole Miss. But this game is being played in Athens, Georgia, home of the Bulldogs. Gunnar Stockton, he's a pretty good quarterback. I mean, the guy does a lot of things. I still believe Kirby may have lost in the Alabama game, or they'd be undefeated. And yeah, Lane's been good, but I will say it will be interesting to see Trinidad play against
A top 5 defense.
yeah, the defense in Georgia, and I know there's been talks about he's a little bit shorter, maybe being able to get your hands up at the line of scrimmage, bat some stuff down. He really likes to throw over the middle a lot, so that'll be interesting to see. I think this game's one of those games where it's close, and then something happens and momentum flips like that. And like I said, I think Ole Miss on the road hurts. Georgia at home, I like. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs as well.
Bulldogs.
Moving on to our last game. I will be in attendance for this game.
Woo woo.
Just letting that foreknown. I will be in the stands. To me, this is one of the best Notre Dame games to go to. Is the USC game. It's always fun to see all the people from California come in. It is, the airport has flights from LA for the first time all time. It's not a normal thing, and then it happens. Seeing all the USC fans. There's a big momentum with this game because this could be the last one between these two schools, as there's not a contract been reached to continue the series. And they kind of, there's a respect because USC beat up on a team that we didn't like last week as well. So it'll be very interesting as number 20 USC Trojans 5-1 at number 13 Notre Dame. They're 4-2. Notre Dame is a 9.5-point favorite. It's a big number. Over under 61.5. They mean points. 7:30 on NBC. Jerry went with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Oh man, these games this week are rough.
Because they could go either way. They really
could. I mean, USC handled business with Michigan last week. I think they looked really good. I have been kind of sleeping on the Trojans. Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame strictly because that it's in Notre Dame. And we kind of talked about Saturday, it's gonna be cold, it's gonna be wet, it's gonna be cloudy and windy. All the things that Southern California people don't like.
Yeah, so I remember the last time Notre Dame and USC played at Notre Dame, that was Caleb Williams' game. And Notre Dame went after him. He looked awful. I think we had like 6 sacks, 2 or 3 picks. We just went after him, jumped on him. It was not a good game for them when they came to, and it was like rainy in the morning, but it was dry, little cold at night. So the weather really wasn't that big of a factor. And then you fast forward to last year where we won, but it was after 2 100-yard pick sixes.
Yeah.
This USC team is much more improved. The Notre Dame offense is much more improved. I don't know about the defense fully yet, right? Like the defense has really figured themselves out the last 3 games, but the teams they've played, are they, have they been good? Have they not? I will say 10 points to Arkansas, 7 points to Boise State, 7 points to NC State. They've not given up points in the second half the last 3 games, but my mind always goes back to the Texas A&M game that I was at, where Texas A&M threw the ball all over them. They had a receiver that had like 200 yards. And what does USC have? Oh, they have a quarterback in Jaden Mayava who he likes to chuck the ball around town. He had a pretty good game against Notre Dame last year to those 2 picks. And then they got these wide receivers in Mekhi Lemon, who some people are now saying that he could be the best wide receiver in college football based off of what he's done so far this year. He had a great catch against Michigan where I was like, how the hell did he catch that ball? And then on the other side, they have a kid named Jacoby Lane who's pretty darn good himself. Now, the question is, can Notre Dame stop them? I'm not fully convinced. But you never know. I will say they're down their 2 starting running backs from injury, but their 3rd string comes in and has 158 yards against Michigan. It makes it look easy. Lincoln Riley's feeling good. It kind of feels like Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley's like, oh, okay, he's being able to run the ball. Their defense is much improved. They have a Gentry kid who plays he's like a rover for them. He's like 6'6", 7-foot wingspan. He's all over the place. Really good player. So that is what's going to be interesting. But I will say the rain and the nasty weather, potentially, they still don't fully know. It could be on and off. They're not.
Well, they're weathermen. They're allowed to be wrong most of the time.
But they're not expecting like hours-long showers. The weather, there's some saying could be close to 80, just windy. So maybe like one of those humid days. It's definitely going to be windy. Wind's going to be swirling. That definitely helps Notre Dame. Something in my stomach. Something in my stomach tells me that USC is going to win this game.
Oh, my gosh.
And it pains me to say that as I'm wearing a Notre Dame shirt underneath this Bears pullover. And then I'm going to the game, and I'll be cheering on the team. I don't know. I just feel like CJ Carr hasn't had a terrible game yet, and I'm not saying he's going to have a terrible game, but I think something's going to happen in this game that he's going to make a mistake, and USC is going to be able to capitalize on it.
Oh, man.
I hope I'm wrong. Like, this is all that I hope I'm wrong. But I don't know. It's just in my stomach, I just feel like USC is a much improved team. And, they handled Michigan. And now, do I think Notre Dame is better than Michigan? Yes. But it was just kind of the way they played against Michigan, who physically is, supposed to be dominating, intimidating. Notre Dame also lost their starting center to an ACL injury for the season, so they don't have that. I just don't know. It just feels like I think it's going to be a shootout. I think this game is going to be wild. I think a lot of points are going to be scored. But I just think in the end, USC is going to win it.
Oh, my God.
And to mind everybody, this year is the 20-year anniversary of the Bush. Something crazy is going to happen in this game. I'm telling you. Something crazy is going to happen.
You're going USC.
I am. I'm picking USC.
Oh, my days.
I will say I've done pretty well picking Notre Dame.
Again, you've done great picking Notre Dame games. And I think most of the time you don't pick Notre Dame.
No,
I think every time you haven't picked Notre Dame.
I know the team. And yes, I'm a fan, but I sometimes have to throw that out of the window. And when it comes to USC, I just think that our defense, Xavier Watts saved us last year. Christian Gray had a great pick. Our defense is not as good as it was last year, even though they've played better. We've not played an offense like USC. We've not played a coach like Lincoln Riley.
This is crazy, man.
I think they're going to throw on us. It's going to be – I think we're going to be able to throw on them. Like I said, I think they're not going to blow us out by any means. It's just – it's going to be a close game, maybe a tie game. Something wacky is going to happen.
This is insanity, Caleb.
20-year anniversary of the Bush.
This is unbelievable. I'm like no.
I hope
Like,
I'm wrong. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong.
honestly, like when you do this, you make me want to change my mind. But obviously, I'm not going to. But you are right. You know this team very well.
I don't know.
And I've seen this talk, this attitude from you twice before.
I'm telling you, I had the same feeling when we played USC last year. It was like, oh, they're gonna blow them out, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, they can throw the ball. Notre Dame has a problem when teams can throw at them. And I think USC is gonna pick their spots. They're not gonna throw at Leonard Moore. Why would you? He has like 2 or 3 picks on the year. They're gonna go after Christian Gray. Nobody's gone after Christian Gray in a while. Devonta Smith, who's supposed to be your slot corner, hasn't really played. He's been questionable the last couple games. Hasn't played. And their best wide receiver, Mekhi Lemon, where does he line up all the time? The slot. So you're going to have that. So you're most likely going to have inexperience covering him. I mean, USC's offensive line is pretty well improved. They were able to run the ball. I don't know. Just thinking logical.
You are thinking logical. You're like a robot. You're like the Terminator when it comes to Notre Dame games.
I have to be a realist. I cannot sit around here and just be like, oh, everything's golden and it's good. And as much as I want that to happen, I just have to prepare my mind to be like, I think we're gonna lose. Something, like I said, it's gonna be a close game and something wacky's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yep. I hope, I pray to God you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too. And this is not no like double reverse jinx. This is like legit. I think they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
USC's a good team. Now, will USC make the playoff? Probably not, because their schedule's pretty tough after this. But I don't know. I just gotta think logical. I have to think logical.
You're a logical man.
With that being said, I'll quickly go through what we picked. So we all picked Miami. Me and Jerry went Washington. You went Michigan. Me and you went Duke. Jerry went Georgia Tech. I went LSU. You guys went Vandy. Me and Jerry went Utah. You went with your boy at BYU.
I think I might be a fan of him now.
I think you are. Bear Backmeyer. Goofy name.
Yeah.
You went with Tennessee with the upset over Bama. Me and Jerry went Bama. We all went Georgia. You two went Notre Dame. I went USC.
Honestly, I get how you feel though, because I do the same thing with the Eagles. I feel like I just like I know the team better than everybody else. And when everyone was talking about how good we were at the beginning of the season, I was like, but you're not watching it like I'm watching it.
Yeah, there is limitation. And like I said, it's just I go back to the A&M game. Creepy Foe says, "Sorry, gentlemen, late night. I'll be watching back. Nice, appreciate that."
It was unusually quiet in the comments.
Yeah, it was. This guy, Creepy Photos, will be in next one for sure. All right, we appreciate that. He has been working some late hours, so
we appreciate you get it in. You get in where you fit in, Nolan.
Yeah, he had to get his pump in, probably. Thinking Livy Dunn was probably going to be watching. So yeah, I know. I don't know. I go back to the A&M game where they were able to throw the ball, move the ball. And like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Notre Dame's going to be able to move the ball. I just feel like something crazy is going to happen. And USC wins the 20th anniversary of the Bush Push. Something crazy is going to happen. Appreciate you too as well, Creepy Photo. I will say after this game, this week in Notre Dame, they have a bye week. So I'm going to try and get Sabrina Hoover back on to do like a mid-season report on the Irish. Hopefully we can get her live. If not, we'll record one with her. But hopefully we can get her live on a Wednesday night with us. That'd be pretty fun. We can go over a lot of things. She's a Texas Tech Red Raider, so we can talk about the Red Raiders. I'm pretty sure she's also a Texans fan. She grew up in Houston. Paul could give me Livy for a night for work. I've been putting in what?
Oh my god.
What? This guy's a creep, man. Freak.
That dude's a crazy boy.
Cheeseburger, man. Dude, she loves herself some cheeseburgers, man.
She does. Yeah.
But yeah, that will be our Wednesday night show. We'll see how we do on picks. I'll go over that real quick. Jerry is 21-20 on the season. Trevor's 26-27, and I am 30-23.
I'm gonna catch up on you boys this week.
Yeah, we'll see. Jerry was 5-4 last week. You were 4-5, and I was 7-2.
Yeah, well, I feel it. The triangle
If you're
will
right, that'd be spectacular.
will be complete.
We'll have to see. Thursday night game is old men versus old men.
Oh yeah, that is a Thursday night game. I couldn't. Yeah, well, that'll probably it's AFC North and it'll be weird and gross and
Probably like 13-10.
yeah, exactly. It can't be as bad as the Broncos Jets game though.
It could be. It
That
could
was,
be.
I can't take much more. That's the thing about this season too. There's been a lot of stuff like that. Specifically with the Vikings, I've been noticing.
Yeah, I think it has been weird because I want to say like every prime time or almost every like Sunday night or like Monday night game so far, it's like the underdog has kind of won.
Mm.
Um, and very rarely has the team that we thought was going to win is won. So yeah, this season is very goofy because yeah, I don't think there's a great team in the NFL.
No,
There's
think
good teams, not
I
great.
think everyone is very beatable.
Yes, everybody has their limitations. Oh, so I got this CBS Sports. Orioles reportedly interested in MLB veteran Albert Pujols for open managerial position.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you see that Russell Westbrook is playing for the Kings now?
Yeah, it was one of those I looked and I just kept scrolling.
Yeah, me too. And also Keegan Murray, an agreement on a 5-year, $140 million extension with the Kings.
Who?
Keegan Murray.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
If you can tell me where he went to college, I will.
You want to guess?
Looking. I know where he went to school.
Oh, okay. Is it ACC?
Nope.
SEC?
Nope.
Big Ten?
Yep.
Michigan State?
Nope.
What? Dude, Big Ten, Indiana?
Nope.
Ohio State?
Nope.
Dude, who? Not Iowa. Not Iowa. Was it Iowa? Oh wow! I was trying to think. I was like, what Big Ten schools are good at basketball?
He's from Iowa.
I said Ohio State though. Have they been good recently? I don't think so.
No, they've not been good for a long time. Yeah, he played at Iowa with his brother. They both played at Iowa.
The Bradley boys.
The Bradley boys?
Is that his name?
You mean Keegan the Murrays?
Was that what I said?
Keegan Murray, yes.
Oh, dude, I don't know anything about NBA and stuff, but I will be learning because this will soon. I'll be picking up.
Yeah, the NBA will be picking up. I don't know how much in depth we'll talk about it just yet.
Yeah, that's fair because we didn't really talk about baseball until October.
Well, that and LeBron isn't playing yet, so
so we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, what does it matter? I mean,
because if we talk about basketball on our podcast when LeBron's not playing, what does that mean for LeBron's legacy?
Yeah, because if LeBron's not out there, it just doesn't mean anything for anybody.
That's
they're illegitimate wins for any other team in the NBA.
Yeah, it doesn't even count because the GOAT and the King isn't out there.
Yeah, no, because of course if he was playing, the Lakers would win 82 games. They'd win all their games, and it wouldn't even be close. But since he's not going to be on the court, it's like we should throw like an asterisk up on the season.
Yeah, yes, and those ones just don't count.
Yeah,
I will. I know we're an hour and 14 minutes in, bro. Let's go ahead and get spicy. Who's the GOAT of NBA basketball?
NBA basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd probably go with 23, Michael Jordan.
I have a very logical argument, and I feel like it's foolproof. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. LeBron James is the best player of all time.
Most accoladed player of all time.
I would say that if you could take anyone's skill set, I would say give me LeBron's build and give me LeBron's skill set. Now, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? I would say the greatest is probably Brady.
Yeah, so you're saying like talent. Yeah, you're saying like talent compared to like what they did on the court.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that because like Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback.
But is he the best quarterback
ever? He's not the most talented quarterback of all time.
Exactly.
The most talented quarterback would probably be Patrick Mahomes or
I would
like
say so.
Aaron Rodgers or Dan
Yeah,
Marino.
or you can
Like
maybe
talent
even throw
wise,
Matthew Stafford in there.
I wouldn't go that far. But yeah,
I mean, he's. I
if you
mean,
throw Matthew Stafford in there, you have to throw John Elway in.
yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
So yeah, I mean, like that's talent wise. It's like wide receiver. Like Jerry Rice, without a doubt, is the greatest. Now, is Randy Moss maybe more
He's Randy
talented?
Moss is the best.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I get that. So, but you say Michael Jordan's the greatest and LeBron is
Is
like
the
the most
best.
talented.
Is the
Yeah.
best player of all time.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. For LeBron, I will say for a guy that like doesn't have like a go-to, like he doesn't have like he's not like a scorer or he's not
Yeah,
like this or that.
exactly. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
good at everything,
yeah.
right? Like
Exactly.
the one limitation you could say is defense, but then you have like the most memorable play of his career is a block.
Right.
It
Yeah.
just wasn't like consistent every night like Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan every night was like getting 2 or 3 steals, like
Yeah.
D'ing you up, like
Guarding 6'3" white guys.
yeah, like doing whatever he does. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean it is tough, right? Like that argument is tough. It's also a generational argument,
Yes, it's very true.
like to where it's like I never saw Michael Jordan play, but everybody who saw Michael Jordan play is like you without a doubt. You watched him, he's the greatest. To where our generation, you grow up with, LeBron. But we also think everybody's the greatest of all time nowadays.
That's
Like
true,
our
but
generation is like, oh, Steph's the greatest, or oh, Kobe's the greatest. It's like you have your favorites that you pick and you go off of that.
well, and what I say for the people who are like, Michael, you didn't watch Michael Jordan play. Well, he was playing against people that were undoubtedly worse than the talent in the NBA today. Because if you're saying that's not true, then the NBA has gotten worse
Yeah.
skill wise. The people at playing basketball have gotten worse
Yeah.
since
I
the
would
'90s, and
I would say that the tough part of it is, and why people argue that is like the overall depth of talent is better in the NBA today, but it just felt like there were more name brands back then.
yeah, that's true. You
Where
got
like Jordan
Ewing,
Jordan
Akeem,
went against like Ewing, Akeem, like even Shaq in the Eastern
the Bad
Conference,
Boys,
like
or
where you
yeah,
had the bad boy Pistons, with Isaiah, Magic, Bird early on in his career, Charles, Gary Payton. Like it just feels like there were more known guys.
but I feel like you can do the same thing with the NBA now.
Yeah, but I just
Durant, Curry,
those two, yeah, without a doubt.
I named two. So,
But that's the thing is
yeah,
like, some people would argue like Charles Barkley is better than Paul George.
I would say that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Charles won an MVP, Paul George never won an MVP.
Yeah,
Karl Malone, John Stockton, throw those two in there. You know what I mean? So I think that's why people are like, oh, but Jordan played against. It's like, yeah, star wise, top of the tier, yes, he played all time greats. Depth wise and everyday players, no, LeBron definitely. Yeah, I do agree with you. The NBA is better off.
right. Yeah, that just it's like, well, Tom Brady's the GOAT. Well, he played in the modern NFL. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, throw whatever baseball player, maybe Shohei or Aaron Judge or whatever. They're it's current day. Now, baseball might be a little different because I know there are some people who will probably say some older players, which would be valid, I would say.
Yeah, I would say older players in baseball, but the argument's like, hey, like if they had to go up against the guys today, but the way that the problem with baseball is the way they play today is completely different than the way they play back then.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so you have a lot of these guys that were contact and power. Would they just be power? And so it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Like the numbers. That's the one sport where the numbers from previous generations are going to look way better than the numbers of today's generation.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is not the case in any other sport, if you think about it.
Yeah. 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 I love that we got into this.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one sport where you know who the greatest player of all time is.
It's golf.
No, there's an argument there.
Is it? Let me think.
It's played with a stick.
Hockey.
Yeah.
And that is Mr. I don't remember. Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, there's like nobody ever argues. Like his nickname is literally the Great One. And
what about that guy for the Lightning?
The guy for the Lightning.
Or who is the guy who just like did something recently?
You're talking about Ovechkin?
Yes.
Yeah, Ovechkin's a great scorer. But
okay.
Wayne Gretzky has like 1,000 more points than the next
Oh
closest guy.
wow.
Like
Yeah.
it's not even, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
the one sport where it's like it's not even close.
Yeah. That is interesting though. Again, we've gone off the rails a little bit here, but I'm enjoying it. I like it. Yeah, I need to also get up on my hockey, but again, I probably won't start caring about that until the
Yeah.
playoffs
Playoffs.
start.
Hockey has started. The Red Wings are 2-1. Of course they are. Like, why wouldn't they be? Um, I'm looking up who has the most points in the NHL history. So Wayne Gretzky has 2,857 points.
That's assists and goals,
Assists
right?
and goals together, yes. The next closest is Jamir Yager with 1,921.
Oh, not even close.
Nope. And the crazy thing is, I'm pretty sure if you take away Gretzky's goals, he's
He
still
would still lead, yeah, with just based
points.
off assists, or yeah,
Yes.
that's
I
great.
mean, he has 894 goals and 1,963
Oh, he
assists.
was an assist machine. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a freak of nature. There are seasons where he had 200 points, which is crazy. And I
yeah.
mean,
I
crazy.
don't even have anything to really judge. Like I don't know what's
He had
LeBron.
a year. This is probably his best year of his career, which would be 1982-83 season. He's 22 years old. 21 years old. 81-82. He had 92 goals and 120 assists for a totaling of 212 points. His plus minus was 80.
Did he like win a lot of Sir Stanley Cups or whatever, Lord Stanley Cups?
I think he won 3 cups. He won 4 cups. Was MVP 9 times.
Oh my gosh!
Was Ross 10 times.
What is
15.
that?
It's like so. There's like different like you have point leaders. You have
Okay.
MVP. There's like different. There's like in the NHL. There's like 2 or 3 different types of like MVPs. Like one
Mm,
is just like voted by the fan or not by the fans, but by like writers, and the other one's voted by like players and a bunch of other stuff.
okay.
So yeah, I mean he's won like every award that you could win,
That's awesome.
like multiple times. So it's just crazy that there's only one sport where there's no argument who the greatest player of all time is. And he would tell you that the greatest player of all time is Gordie Howe because that's who he grew up watching.
And we've come full circle. You just say the greatest player of all time is someone whoever you watched growing up.
Yeah, but to him, like he'll say Gordie Howe's the greatest,
Yeah, and I'll say LeBron is the greatest.
but he's not.
But I literally actually didn't say that like 5 minutes ago.
He's not though. LeBron. See, Jerry would be great for this conversation because Jerry really likes basketball. And I honestly, we have to ask Jerry who he thinks the greatest basketball
Yeah,
player.
I would be interested in saying, but I think LeBron is the best basketball player of all time. He's the most talented. Well, the thing is about being talented is that you can be talented and not necessarily perform well.
No, I mean, look, for everything that LeBron had coming in, the chosen one, the number one overall pick, 18 years old, having to put a franchise like the Cleveland Cavaliers on his back, he lived up to it. There's
Yeah,
no doubt about that. It's just Michael Jordan will always have 6-0 in the
yeah,
finals. LeBron
yeah.
won't.
Never even been to a game 7.
No, and that right there is
Yeah,
like what's the most impressive thing about it.
yeah, I agree.
Like Jordan has an assist, and we're like, oh, Michael Jordan caused that assist to Steve Kerr.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like LeBron doesn't have that, right?
No, he doesn't. But I mean, he also, I think that, I mean, obviously he's lacking a little bit compared to Jordan in the championships thing. But I think if you look back, knowing what we know about LeBron, you'd still be like, yeah, you did. That's a perfect, career to have.
No, I honestly, I honestly think people are going to look back on LeBron and say he went to 10 NBA finals
Yep, that's
and went
insane.
to like so many in a row. Like people are going to be like, wait, what? So I think over time, actually, people that didn't watch LeBron, I think are going to favor LeBron.
Yeah,
So that's what's going to be interesting because you have like the now if LeBron was like Tom Brady, where Tom went to 10 Super Bowls, which is crazy to think about. Half of
right.
his career he was in a Super Bowl,
Yeah,
and he won 7. He went 7-3. Say LeBron goes 6-4, it's a different argument, right?
yeah.
But he has a
No,
losing
definitely.
record in the finals,
Yeah,
where he's 4-6.
Yeah,
But I think over time, it may favor LeBron.
I agree. I think that's
So,
fair.
all right, good little thing.
Yeah. We
We
like
got
to
our
do that.
screaming A on.
Yeah.
There's always they talk about it in like radio. There's always arguments where you can like put it on and like people could go forever. Jordan LeBron is clearly one of those arguments.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to cook up some more.
We'll have to see him. We'll have to ask Jerry what he wants on Sunday when we're all back.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll break down college football, NFL, get into it, look ahead to the week. As always, thanks for watching.